It is 4:30. This is the time I usually get back from work in the week. I don't work on the weekend, so I wouldn't need to get back from work on the weekends. But 4:30 is the time I get back from work to the horses. So we have got, it's mid-November, so we've only got about 20 minutes left of daylight. And I'm going to go through in this video kind of how I switch up my training when it gets dark. So without further ado, in the dark training, number 1. Got the pre-training feeds ready. I'm hoping that you can actually see and the camera is making up for the lack of light, but we'll see. I'm just going up into the field to get Tizzy. Actually, if I look on the viewfinder of the camera, it doesn't look that dark. It's actually darker in real life than I think you're seeing. Okay, let's go get Tizzy and we'll bring her in for one of my first methods of winter in the dark training. One of the elements of winter training is lunging, and I'm very lucky to have a school that is floodlit, so we do have the option of being in the school over winter. I like to do 3 different things when I'm lunging, either in the Pessoa, and at the moment I'm using the back of the Pessoa, and instead of using the front bits, using side reins, so they're separate but still doing the same kind of thing, or I use the bungees on the lunge, or I use the poles for a little bit of core, hock and knee movement and things. Don't push your bum into me, Whizzle. So that's number 1. So first of all, I'm going to get Tizzy ready, then I'll turn the menage lights on, and let's get started, because you can see that in the time it's taken for us to get Tizzy in, it's dark outside. So grumpy. Reach this one. Out you go. So when I lunge, I do a combination of like continuous or stop start, and I always have like a goal. So if one lunging session I've done the Pessoa and it was continuous, the next time I go in the Pessoa it'll be lots of transitions, and that's the same for all the different aids. So the reason my training changes so much in winter is I work full time, so by the time December comes I actually don't see the horses in daylight until the weekend. And if I was still in Wales at home, it would be perfectly safe, because there's off-road riding and the roads are very quiet, to go out riding with lights on. And I actually really like riding in the dark. I think it's really peaceful. But around the livery, it's just not safe around here. The roads are too busy, people drive too fast, and I don't have any off-road riding to go to. So I have to only hack at the weekends, and that's why my training really gets mixed up as soon as the nights draw in. And that's not a bad thing. I think switching up training is really good for developing different aspects of fitness, and letting some bits of the physiology recover while you work on something else. So over winter, it's not really about fitness for me because I just can't fit in the kind of fit training that you need to do for fitness. It's more about education, strengthening, spending a little bit more quality time with the horses, like just chilling with them in the field, spending a bit more time in the stable, shorter sessions, but lots of kind of strength work, movement work, and just making sure that they've got a really good foundation for when we get a little bit more daylight and we can start doing the fitness training again. Welcome to session 2 of the winter training. Now, this is actually pretty clean for a winter pony. We've been very lucky in the UK and so far our autumn has been quite mild and there's not much mud in the fields, but as you can see, she's not beautifully clean. In the winter, I really don't mind. As long as where the tack is clean and they're comfortable, I don't need them to be squeaky clean, sparkly, so don't worry if there's a bit of mud on your horse, as long as they're comfy and it's not going to get on all your tack. Okay? So, training session number 2 is hill walks. So you'll see that I'm going to put loads of high-vis, loads of lights on, go out into the dark. I'm really lucky that just outside of the livery is a really steep hill, isn't there? Yeah. And normally I either do it on foot, because it's a bit of exercise for me as well, or I do it ridden. We're going to do it ridden today. And I literally do reps up and down the hill in walk and trot, just for a little bit of fitness. And it's something that I can do that the traffic isn't too bad and there's little places I can go if I hear a car or anything. So let's get started. Let's tack you up. What are you doing? Hey? What are you doing? Good girl. You're so grumpy when you do your girls, aren't you? Yes, you are. You're such a grump. Always has been. High-vis piece number 1, I've got these little breastplate covers, lights that came from EquiSafety, I do believe, and they flash. We'll turn them off for now. You'll see them in the dark. So they have a little button in there, they're rechargeable, which is really cool. Then I got these off Amazon. We've got little cycle lights. I have got more powerful ones now, so I have those on my stirrups either side. Then I've got a red one on the back of my saddle that you'll see when we go out into the dark. Obviously I've got a head torch. Then we're just going to put some high-vis boots on and a quarter sheet and we're ready to go.
So what material is this?
Mercury is what they call it. I don't actually know what it is. You can get lots of riding stuff with this now and they just call it mercury because it's so bright. I did not clean my boots from the last ride. I'm a bad horse owner. I'm going to horsey jail. Normally I wash them down every ride. I promise I actually do. Light, 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 light. Let's go. Just let them off. Okay, the final light. Let's go. Good girl, huh? This ring light is ruining our vision. But at least you can see. hand over my light so I don't blind you all. Session done, so we did 2 walks up and down and then 3 trots up and walk downs, and that's usually enough for a little session, especially as we're not training that hard at the moment. It's more just to keep Tizzy's fitness ticking over. On to session number 3. Okay, so session number 3 that I use in the week when it's dark and I don't see my ponies in daylight is schooling. Now, I choose to school in 2 different ways, and I know I'm super lucky to have this facility. Got an all-weather menage with some flood lighting that kind of, I know they're not very bright, but it means you can see. So I am very appreciative of that, and some people I know don't have that facility. But car lights in the field, probably just as good. So the 2 ways I school is classically or ordinarily like most people school. So I have a focus, it's either transitions or turns or trying to do some lateral work, and I always have a goal, I always have a focus, something that I'm concentrating on for each session, otherwise I feel like I'm floundering around and not achieving anything. So that's one way I do it, and then the other way is I do some continuous training in the school. So that's when, and that's what I'm gonna do today, but it's when I literally walk 5 laps one way, 5 laps the other way, and walk, obviously because I just said I'd walk it, and then I will trot 5 laps one way, 5 laps the other, then I'll canter 5 laps one way, 5 laps the other. You get the gist. And 60 laps of the school equals 5 miles, so it's really good continuous training. It lets me practice getting them into a rhythm and keeping a fixed pace without too much input from me, using themselves really well for the corners, and then I practice my flying changes when I come and do a figure of 8 to change the rein. So that is what I'm going to do tonight. Usually takes me about 30-40 minutes depending on what speed I'm trying to get. I don't want to go too fast, I want it to be quite an easy, like not a high speed canter, probably at the 16 to 18k mark depending on the horse. Let's get to it. Let's go, Whizzle. Okay, so that's a little insight into how I train my endurance horses when I don't have any daylight and I don't have the facilities to do the training that maybe would be ideal. In an ideal world, I'd have like a canter track with floodlights or gallops or off-road hacking that was nice and safe in the dark, but we don't, so we work with what we've got. And actually, I got Tizzy pretty fit for the World Equestrian Games from doing laps in a school, so it really does work. You're a little bit tired now, aren't you? Hey? Yes. So training facilities and the way you do training doesn't have to be textbook, it doesn't have to be perfect, just variation and keeping your horse fit. Is it time to go in now, Whizzle? Food time. You did good, well done.